Can I ask you, what's the best piece of advice you've ever had?
Um, so in terms of advice, I think I try and assimilate information from lots of different sources, and I do lots of reading and that kind of thing. But in terms of specific pieces of advice, I think when I joined the business that I was previously at, um, the the founder of that business, who's a guy that we both know, Richard Hogg. Um, I've come from an environment where it was very much expected to put on a professional mask, if you like. Um, and one of the first things that Richard, told me was, be yourself, let down your guard, be vulnerable, let people see the real you, which is exactly what you were talking about before as well, Steve. But I think, and I took that on board, and that totally changed my style of how I interacted with other people in a professional setting. But I think by doing that, that totally also transformed the level of relationship that I was able to create with them. You know, not just sticking to the professional line of things, but actually, just asking the questions of, how are you? How's your family? What kind of stuff do you get up to? And once you know those people, that rapport just builds, and the like you say, the depth of the relationship that you get with those people is so much more than it would be if you were purely just talking to them about professional stuff. So for me, that's been something that's really changed my outlook, and I think is, hopefully allowed me to be much more successful than I would have been otherwise.
No, God. But again, this is why I like to do this, because a lot of people do live streams, but they just focus on the purely business specifics of plug in something or they get paid to do it. As we're actually, I want to actually get to know the people and the background and the story. If you were to give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
The main thing that I would like to go back and impart on myself is that you've got, well, there's two things, I think. If I may be so bold as to
do whatever
to
you
give
want.
two answers. But the first one is that you've got to do it. You've got to do it yourself. Nobody's going to take responsibility for your success other than yourself. And I think if I'm critical around how I went about the early part of my career, part of me was probably expecting somebody to see potential in me and take a chance on me. And I've got to the stage now where you realize that, you're not in a movie. That's not going to happen. You've got to take responsibility for your own success, like I say. So that's one thing that I think I could have learned earlier on in my career. The second thing is a realization that came to me 4 or 5 years ago, I think, but it's that if there's something that you're not looking forward to doing, you're never going to feel like it, whether it's now or something that you're trying to put off for later in the day or later in the week, or however you're trying to kick that can down the road. The reality is you're never going to feel like it. So just front up and do it now. Get it out of the way, because you'll feel a lot better once you have done.
Yeah.
And again, I think that was something that it took me time to learn through mistakes and experience, that I now try and adhere to every day, and just think, well, what is the stuff that I don't want to do? I'm going to get that out of the way first in my day, really.